Well, welcome to episode number 3 of the Announcer Mike Racing Podcast. And joining me tonight, first guest, is the Comp Cam Super Late Model announcer, Wes Gwaltney. Wes, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. Man, y'all have had a lot of rainouts this season. And hopefully, with as hot as it's been, it won't get no pop-up showers to rain us out this week. Back in May, y'all put on one heck of a show. And tell us a little bit about this weekend with the Hillbilly 40.
It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Of course, we're going to Poplar Bluff on Friday night. We get to go back there for the first time since 2021, so that'll be cool. Yeah, Mother Nature has not been nice to us. We've been rained out. My gosh, I think it's the first time we're racing in nearly a month or so. As we've tried to reschedule the Clash of the Mag a couple times, and Mother Nature hasn't been nice there. We tried to run it twice. We had to move Arrowhead at one point. So we ran a one-day show at Jackson back in June, and we ran a one-day show at Arrowhead in June, and then we lost the Saturday night show at Tri-State. So I'm just ready to get back to the racetrack. I think I'm going to be a little bit rusty, but hopefully the drivers aren't too rusty. They can put on a pretty good show for us. It's been a good season so far. We're 9 races in, or this will be this 9 races in on the season, and it took us 6 races to get a repeat winner. But then since then, Kyle Beard's won like 2 out of the last 5 or 3 out of the last 5. So he'll be one to watch. Of course, he won on Saturday night at the Bad Boy 98, but there's going to be a good field of cars with him.
Yeah, it's amazing that Kyle, he drove all the way from 16th to 1st, and there was still 18 laps to go when he took the lead. I just went back and watched that. That's pretty incredible. It sucks that Logan Martin still ain't on the tour with y'all, because that could really make for an awesome points battle, which you've already got one now, but it's starting to look more and more like the Kyle Beard show.
It kind of has been, and that's hats off to him and his program. He's a 2-time series champion for a reason, but it's been 9 years since he won a title, since 2014. So, he's been really hitting on cylinders lately. He did have a rough night at our last race out at Arrowhead. He didn't have the best night he was looking for there. So there's definitely some opportunities. You had guys like Brian Rickman, who finally ended the streak of Kyle Beard winning at Jackson. So Brian Rickman got his first win of the year. BJ Robinson, he's pretty good around Batesville. And it's really that part of the season where anything can happen. One malfunction on a race car, and there's 15, 20 points in a single night given up. So it can tighten up pretty quickly. Kyle's been good here early in the season. He switched that Black Diamond chassis at the end of last year, and then has been very good at it. He's very good in it so far this year, and we'll see if he can keep that going, because there's a hungry field of cars out there with him. As you mentioned, Logan, he wanted to try traveling with the World of Outlaws a little bit this year, and did that for a little bit, and that is a grind, and hats off to his team and everything he does. He's a heck of a driver, and great people, too. I love talking to them every time they're at the racetrack, but now that he's off the tour, you never know. He might be popping up there at Batesville. He loves that place. That's where he got his first ever Comp Cam Super Dirt Series win. We used to call him the king of the 1350, but now we don't have 1350s anymore. So I guess he's going to have to become the king of one of the NLM2s or 3s or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know that Logan had jumped off the World of Outlaw Tour. I know he hadn't been in a couple events, but I didn't know what was going on there. But there ought to be some, people from Missouri coming down that I seen where Mason Oberkramer's coming down. There'll be some people getting in here trying to get that final tune-up for that Top Plus 100 coming up here pretty soon.
Absolutely. It's a good chance to turn some laps around Batesville, and you never know what we're going to get come August. It could be 120 degrees like it feels like outside every day, like we're on the surface of the sun, or it could be humid and raining and all sorts of that. So you never know if you're going to get a cowboy up kind of racetrack, or, easy on the throttle. So we'll kind of see. This weekend looking pretty hot. So on the plus side, we ain't going to get no rain. That's a plus. And we should get both events in this weekend. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I didn't jinx us or anything there. But other than that, it's a chance. Batesville's a tricky track. I mean, it's one of those places that it's pretty much black slick by the end of hot laps into heat races, and you can really see the track deteriorate through qualifying. So going out early in qualifying can mean the difference, and depending on how many cars there is, and determines how many groups we got. If we got one group or two, and if you're at the back of a heat race, I mean, you get spread out pretty quick at Batesville. So it's tough, but it's one of those places that when you're good, you're good. And Kyle showed that back during the Bad Boy 98 when he was able to find the bottom earlier than everybody else, and that car was just hooked up, and he got to the lead pretty early, and he's done that a couple times this year coming from the back. But I know that's very stressful, especially with the field of cars that we got and the caliber of drivers we've got.
Well, I'm sure money's going to be in that water truck just soaking the daylights out of that thing. Probably starting tonight, or somebody's out there. I'm sure tonight watering it. But this will be on Flow, right?
It will, yeah. I think last time I checked, it's supposed to be live on Flow. I could be wrong on that one, so don't hold me to it if it doesn't end up happening. But I think it's supposed to be Friday night at Poplar Bluff, and then Saturday night for the Hillbilly at Batesville. It's going to be a good time, and always the local classes put on a great show. I'm going to try to add a little money to the hobby stocks again, like I do every year for memory of my dad, because it's just a special place to me. That's where I grew up, is at Batesville, and it always feels like coming home every time I get to be there. So it was kind of cool getting to sit there during the 4th of July and just watch races for a little bit, but it kind of made me realize how much I missed announcing. So finally,
Yeah,
finally get to do that.
Yeah, you had to rescue me when my computer went down for the firework music. So thank you for saving me on that deal, because I didn't know what else to do.
No problem, buddy. No problem at all. I was glad I could help. I was just getting to chill a little bit and enjoy it, and it was kind of nice to get to be a fan a little bit, but announcing just a little bit more fun.
You know, this is me in my second year. I get addicted to it. And I was scared to death of it the first time I started doing it. I thought, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I ain't got no business being in here. And I've actually fell in love with it and enjoy it. And I keep perfecting my craft to make things, better. I still walk on myself sometimes, like stumbling words, and I know that's gonna happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I just enjoy the heck out of it.
It's a lot of fun. I was lucky enough to get to announce there at Batesville for several years before I got with the series, and loved every second of it. It's just, as long as you never lose the love for the sport, you're always going to be okay in that note. And it's fun to just kind of convey some of that stuff and some of the more interesting things to people. By no means am I the best. I can tell you, I'm far from it at that. But I learned something every single night I go out, and there'll be some nights, one night we got done racing somewhere, and I was talking to my fiance afterwards. She's like, "Why are you down? I mean, it was a good night. We got out of here early." I said, "Yeah, but it wasn't a good announcing night." She said, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" I said, "I guess get better for next time. I don't know. What do you want me to do?" So you kind of got to learn every single time you can, and it's so much fun. I'm just a big fan out there. That's the coolest thing. I was fooled when I was a kid, as far as we had late models like every week at Bates. You remember when you ran out there, we had late models like every week. So and I always said, "Man, I'd like to travel and just talk about late models." And Chris Ellis gave me a shot at doing that when I was at Batesville one time. I went down to the Pelican at Arclatech Speedway, and Robert Baker passed Jack Sullivan, my now boss, on the last lap. So that might be one of the best late model races I've ever seen. But from then on, I was like, "Man, this might be the coolest thing in the world to get to travel around." And if everything had worked out this year, and we still got a chance of it, I think it was going to get to announce it like, I don't know, 6 or 7 different states, which is cool. We got Oklahoma next weekend again at Arrowhead on Friday, and then we go to Caney Valley in Kansas. It's my first time. You could say I announced in Arkansas and Kansas, Arkansas and Kansas in the same year.
Lord.
And of course, we're racing up in Poplar Bluff in Missouri. It's our lone trip to Missouri this year, and we've already been down over to Mississippi a couple times. We're going to be there a couple more times, going down to Louisiana again. I've been over in Texas. It's just so cool to see that and get to experience it as a fan. And you've come a long way in your announcing. I've been lucky enough to get to be there and help you out a little bit. And you're doing very well. And just keep on doing what you're doing. And I think the fans of Batesville are enjoying it. I know I've been enjoying it that night, sitting there enjoying the 4th of July. So I'm looking forward to being home.
Yeah, I enjoy it. You get to do the late models, and I've got to call the Titan Legends late model series. Nothing like calling, what you're doing. But I have the most fun calling the IMCA stock cars, because you do not know what's going to happen the next corner. They might be single file, and then they just spread out and they're 4 and 5 wide, just battling like crazy. I love watching those guys battle and calling that, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
The stock cars put on a great show. I'll admit the hobby stocks have always been my favorite class. That's another reason why they'll have the extra money this weekend up for grabs. That was always my dad's favorite class, and those Camaros. There's those same race cars been out there for 20 years. I literally were out there during the 4th of July, and I said, "Is that Randy Sherrill's old car?" And someone looked at me like, "What?" I said, "Is that Randy Sherrill's old car from like 2003?" And they're like, "I mean, it looks like it." I was like, "I bet it is." And those cars, they beat and bang a little bit. Yes, they have some rough nights where they wreck quite a bit, but there's just nothing quite like the speed of a super late model. It's sprint cars. I mean, push and flips are cool and all, but there's just nothing quite like the super late model.
Yeah, I think the hobby stocks is a class for the shenanigans, because there's
Absolutely.
always something. You can almost plan on if you watch some cars, they're if they do something, you can tell their buddies are fixing to do the same thing, and it's kind of like a chain reaction.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. I appreciate you coming on here tonight, and look forward to catching up with you Saturday night.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on here. I hope people join us at the Hillbilly 40 on Saturday night at Batesville. If you want to come and join us on Friday night at Poplar Bluff, love to see you there as well. And if you see me in the stands, stay high. I love talking to the fans and trying to get some stickers to kiddos if I got some and stuff like that. But would love the fans. I mean, we couldn't do it without them, and we appreciate them. I know all the drivers, they have the same sentiment. I know you got a couple drivers coming on here in just a little bit, and they'll say the same thing. The fans are the best thing in the world, and we love to pack the stands, and we hope we can do that again this weekend. I know it's going to be hot, so you may need to drink plenty of water in the process, but we're going to give you the best show we possibly can.
Yep. Well, I again appreciate you coming on, Wes, and look forward to seeing you Saturday, man.
Yes, sir. Later, buddy.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
All right. Well, we've got coming up here a little bit later on, is as advertised. We've got Travis Ashley coming on. We've got Kyle Beard, and we've got Joseph Leister coming on. So as soon as those guys get ready to come in, we'll bring them in. And then while we're waiting, I'm going to go over some past results from Batesville. Of course, the last time that we got to race was back on July 1st. The IMCA Modifieds, they got to see Nick Glaze pick up the win. That was his first win of the season at Batesville. Coming home second was Brandon Smith. Third was Adam Maple. Fourth was the Hall of Famer, dirt track legend Wayne Brooks. Fifth was Bryson Clark. In your IMCA stock cars, it was Randy Weaver picking up the win. Joe Payne was second. Hayden Lynn was third. Patrick Lynn was fourth. And Jeremy Kirkendall rounded out your top five. In the hobby stocks, it was Terry Brooks picking up the win. Second was Chad Harris. Third was David Hagler. David Hagler jumped back into the hobby stock. Fourth was Cody Maple, and fifth was Cody Cornett. The Young Guns got to see a new winner. It was Gavin Schultz, along with Riley Morrow. Riley Morrow had some trouble that night and wasn't able to technically start the feature, but he still come home second. Your Midwest Modifieds, Keaton Wheeler picked up his second win of the 23 racing season. David Hagler come in second. Adam Poe was third. Daryl Fegan was fourth. And all we had was 4 cars on hand. Your Arkansas factory stock, seen Cody Lowe picking up the win. Kevin Atkinson coming home second. Third was Cody Robertson. Fourth was Gavin Lowe, and Jordan Junior Turner rounding out your top 5. So, also, while we're still waiting for Travis or one of the guests to come in, we'll go over your results from Black Rock on July 3rd. The feature winner for your Junior 1 cage was Mason Varner. Junior Factory was Leela Miller. Pro Mod was Joey Lester. Pro Stock was Joey Lester. And Joey Lester picked up the Adult Factory as well. John Morgan picked up the win in the Ghost. And the Junior 2 was Gavin Nichols. Had a great turnout at Black Rock for the 4th of July special. Good fireworks show. Now, a lot of people may not know this. I'm not a firework person, but I got to give Tyler and his group a hand for amazing fireworks show. They did, pretty awesome job the way they spread it out. They had stuff in the middle. They had stuff outside the track shooting over the stands. Place was packed. It was a great turnout, good turnout in carts. Now, the feature event for the Firecracker 400, now it's seen some action. Now, a lot of people left early that missed that race. And I think a lot of it may have been because the mosquitoes were a little bit, but hey, The ones that braved it out got to see a dandy of a show. And Joey Leister picked up the win. I think he led every lap of that thing. And he'll be on here a little bit later on to talk about it. But their next event at Black Rock, let me bring up the flyer here. Next event for the Bobby Hums Memorial Speedway at Black Rock will be August 11th. Gates will open at 5 o'clock. Racing will start at 7 o'clock. They'll have a full concession stand. Pit passes are $5. So be sure to come out and support the Black Rock Speedway. Let's try to see where some of our guests are at. I'm kind of a little bit ahead, I believe, is why we may be a little bit off. Yeah, we're ahead of schedule is why we're sitting and waiting. Send Travis a little text, say I'm ready for him, and but hopefully the race this weekend will be on flow. It may or may not happen, like Wes said. But if you ain't got flow, it's worth every dollar you buy or spend on flow racing, whether you do it monthly, whether you do it yearly. It's definitely worth it. He's just having a few technical difficulties, and he'll be on. But it's worth every cent. There's hundreds and hundreds of races a year that you get to catch, whether it's dirt racing, whether it's asphalt. It's well worth it. But also, while I'm thinking about it, I will go over the Batesville Motor Speedway schedule that we've got remaining out there, because there's some good races coming up at Batesville that I certainly wouldn't want anybody to miss. As we have got this weekend, of course, the Hillbilly 40, and then we'll have carload night on August 5th. We'll have the Comp Cams Topless 100 August 18th and 19th. That's $5,000 to win on Friday night, and then $50,000 to win for the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series on the 19th, Saturday. And then we'll have the Arkansas Factory Stock Showdown 50. That'll be September 1st and 2nd. There'll be an open practice on August 31st. Then we'll have the final night of points racing on September 23rd. And then we got that 28th annual show and field header IMCA Stock Car 10,000 to win event. That'll be September 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then we'll end the season October 12th, 13th, 14th for the 7th annual Race for Hope 71. Now, the IMCA Stock Cars, that'll be 10,000 to win this year. It's taking place of the old Super Stocks. They switched over last year to the IMCA Stock Cars. And that'll be one heck of a race. You don't want to miss that one. If, stock cars are your thing. I'm truly enjoyed getting to see, those stock cars every week. But again, we're just waiting on Travis Ashley to get in here. Having a little bit of difficulty getting in. But as soon as we get him in here, we'll be ready to go. I got a little head start here tonight. About 15 minutes earlier than I planned on it, but we'll get through it. Anybody out there got any questions? Be happy to answer anything you got. I do appreciate everybody watching. Be sure to like, be sure to share it. If you're on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button as well. Everything's much appreciated. Everything here's free. I don't charge nobody to watch me up here and do this. Not asking for no donations, not asking for nothing like that. However, we're going to get through this season. We're going to switch over to a new program. We're not going to use StreamYards no more. I'm going to be switching to something different. That's a lot better. It's got a lot more options to make the viewing pleasure a little better. So we got 7 people watching. Tell us where you're watching from. As we're still waiting on Travis. He's having just a few technical difficulties. And then we'll get him in here. I know Willie, he's out there. He's watching from Kentucky. Bowling Green, Kentucky. No, nobody wanting to comment tonight. Jimmy Bruce from Paragould, he's out there watching. That's a big Kyle Beard fan. Got to appreciate Jimmy for helping me get in touch with Kyle. Kyle will be on here just a little bit later on. I believe the Hillbilly 40 used to be at I-30. Of course, I-30 shut down now. Hopefully that'll be the last track to shut down in this state. Hate to even see that one go. Alan Alexander from Clarendon, Arkansas. See what's going on here. Alan, I believe you race over Black Rock, right? Hopefully Travis can get her figure out there. He's struggling a little bit. He'll get it. I've had Travis on another podcast before. It took him a minute to get it, but he'll get on here. He's one of the most well-likable persons you'll ever meet in the pits. Always good with kids, which is also another reason why I brought Kyle Beard on, is because he's one of those good people to meet, and he'll go out of his way to do anything for a fan. And that's Travis and Kyle for sure. All right. Well, here comes Travis Ashley. Oh, okay, Alan. Trying to get Travis to load in here. Let's see here. We got Travis's. No, we don't. All right, there he is.
Hey, Mikey, what's happening, buddy?
What's going on, Trav?
I Stop doing work, trying to get the car ready, man, sweating.
Yeah, I know that. It's definitely hot out there. Well, man,
Yeah.
you had some misfortune the last time the Comp Cams was here for the Bad Boy 98, but since then, you picked up a win over at College Ridge a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it comes and goes. I think that's the story of every single racer. You got your ups and your downs. One day you're, but it's I don't mind having a bad day every now and again. It seems like we've had it more often than not for about the last 2 years. So I'm kind of ready for it to turn around and go the other direction, just to be honest with you. But it's okay, because the worst day at a racetrack, it's pretty good. There's never really.
Uh-oh. We lost Travis. Make sure. Maybe Travis can get her back on here. Travis lives in a bad spot where the service kind of sucks, so he lives on the north side of town here. All right, let's try her again.
I'm sorry, Mikey. I got the worst service in the world here, man. We're down in the hole.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. You live on the wrong side of town for service.
I do. But I'm even on the worst day, I'm pretty fortunate to get to do what we do. So, and we picked up one this year, and I love that place. It's so energetic. There's so many people. When you went over there, it's like, oh my God, like second to none. You look up and there's 2,500, 3,000 people just cheering, little kids running around with flags. It's what it's supposed to be like. So it was a common one.
You still there?
Well, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can move this whatever the thing is booster around and get some service.
You might just get a little bit away from that metal building. It may be sucking you down there.
I can walk out here in the middle of the road. If somebody runs over me, they run over me.
Not out.
But I'm glad we're doing this, because this is living proof for all those people that call and say I never answer the phone. They've got proof right now. I have zero service whatsoever.
Yeah. I've been out to your shop. I know right where you're at.
Yeah, it is down on the pole.
Yeah,
but I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to coming out here this weekend for sure. We won't be able to race Friday in Poplar Bluff, but we're going to race out here Saturday, and it's going to be fun, man. You get to go out there with Kyle, and you're going to talk to him later. So it's we park next to each other, and he helps me out 99% of the time, and I certainly appreciate that. But I'm hoping to do more racing later in the year. We just been busy. Like, there's no other excuse. I've just been busy, and that's terrible. But I think we've only run 4 or 5 times all year. So normally by now we've got 10 or 15 races.
Yeah.
But you just got to get in where you can at the moment.
Well, Travis, you're one of the best when it comes to getting out in public, taking your race car to some of the local businesses around here, and putting smiles on kids' faces, man. And there's no one better in this business than you when it comes to that.
That hard, man. I appreciate that very much. I was at a racetrack, and I seen some people that really weren't pay attention to if I ever make it at somewhat of a high level in life. I never did that, and so I've kind of focused on that for a long time. And there's nothing better. You take your car out in the middle of public, and there's nothing better than a bunch of kids smiling and laughing and having a good time, and you kicking the side of your race car and climbing up in there. And their parents always say, "Don't touch nothing." Well, I don't care if you touch it. I'm going to tear it up anyway. So, like, I really like that. Plus, I mean, sponsors need to be seen, and what better way than a bunch of kids being out there? And it's hard enough to get people to watch races nowadays because you can literally do it from your phone or television or anything else. But that kind of gives that kid like, hey, mom, can I go to the racetrack? And they do, and I like all that. Yeah, that's what it's about in the first place, is the kids and the up and coming, not necessarily us. So I kind of really believe in that. Some people make fun of me for it, and that's fine. I don't care. I'm all right with it.
Well, you certainly are one of the best when it comes to doing that. You've got one of the most kindest hearts out there, and you kind of took me into your wing when I started working out at Larry Shaw's a long time ago, and we've been friends for God over 10 years now, man. And can't thank you enough for that and all the opportunities you've given me just to go to the races with you back when you was traveling with the old late model series. That, what was that, Southern Outlaw series? And
Yes, sir.
those were some good times, man. But
yeah, they were. Yeah,
but
and I appreciate the friendship for sure. That's never going to stop.
yeah. Well, I don't want to hold you up too much. You want to thank any of your sponsors, man?
Yes, sir. 100%. You cannot do any of this without sponsors whatsoever. People don't even realize what sponsors do. They think they just kind of put their name on the side of the car and that's that. But they fill up your truck, they buy you food and drinks, they do all kinds of stuff. So I'm very fortunate to have the ones that we have. I would like to thank Roger Meader, first of all. He's let me drive and let me tear up just about everything we've ever had, blow numerous motors up. I certainly appreciate that. I think at times he's going to fire me. So thanks for him allowing me to drive his cars, and I appreciate that very much. And Los Plaitas and Arturo and them guys over there at the Mexican food restaurant, and he's been with me for a while now, and I appreciate him. And of course, KR Motorsports, and KR Fuels, KR everything. I've known Kevin Rogers my whole life from West Texas, and he's been really, really good to me. And we kind of, when we were kids, we were both like, we're going to do this for a living. And now we're older, I was thinking, what in the world were we thinking? But I'm glad after all these years that we're still really good friends, and he's a very good sponsor. And Joey Bray at J Bray Fast Freight, he's always been there for me since pretty much day one. He's been there. Kirkshaw at New Vision Graphics, Shugs, which Kirkshaw has Shugs now as well. Dale Ladd at Ladd Eye Care, he's always been really good to me. Robert King at Klein Racing Engines has taken very well care of me over the years. I know there's probably a lot of people I'm forgetting. Woodco, man, that's really, really cool for me to have Woodco, knowing that Brandon Smith races and his dad, Donnie, and them, they take really, really good care of me, and that's pretty awesome in my book. So those are probably the main sponsors. Rock Hard Powder Coating, of course, I've had them a really long time, and Tadpole's always taken very good care of me. So those are the main ones that I would really like to appreciate. I'm sure I'm getting some because I'm getting older.
Well, buddy, stay cool, and we'll see you out there Saturday night. Go give them heck.
You bet, brother. Come by and take a chance, or I'll come up to the booth, man.
All right, buddy. Well, take care.
Take care. Keep out, man.
Bye. Bye. All right. That was Travis Ashley. And now all we're waiting on is for our other guest, as we are still kind of way ahead. But you won't meet that's one of the nicest guys right there you'll ever meet. It's Travis Ashley. Always got his car around town, local businesses for the kids. Just one of the down to earth guys you'll ever meet. So now we're waiting on let's see who we got. Yep, we're waiting on Kyle Beard now. I do again. I appreciate everybody watching. I kind of just threw this show together this week. It slipped up on me so fast. I've been on vacation. Of course, I haven't called a race since the Firecracker weekend at Bobby Holmes. It was on July 3rd. And everything just kind of quickly rode downhill to vacation. Then we went to Florida. We come back, and man, I wasn't ready for anything. I was still on vacation mode. I think I still am. But I got up going Monday and thought, man, I got to get some guests on for this show. And I wasn't going to postpone this one for sure. I was prepared to do it last week if I had to get it ready for the late mall show. I thought it was last weekend. And Wes told me that it wasn't. So otherwise I was thinking faster than I was actually moving, so to speak, I guess. I was thinking ahead, way too far ahead. But they, over at Black Rock, Tyler did want me to say that they are going to add an extra dose of whatever it was that they had sprayed from Mosquito Joe's. They're going to double what they put out for the next race, the August race. Hopefully it'll kill the mosquitoes down and until later in the night or whatever. But they're going to add a double dose to whatever it was they put down. Of course, it wasn't bad. They didn't come out till after the fireworks and all the features started. But want to thank the fine folks that helped the Black Rock Speedway, Bobby Holmes Memorial, Anderson Auto Sales, J&R Flying Services, Renee's Restaurant of Black Rock, Suds Car Wash of Black Rock, M&N Elite Excavating. Oh, we got Joseph Leister in here. We'll go ahead and get him on. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. You still unloading that money on your Brinks truck from Black Rock?
I think I've spent it all already.
Spent it all, huh?
It don't take much, right?
No, it sure don't. Well, man, tell us about it. You come in there and won just about everything that you possibly could.
Well, I had a few folks, asking about us, coming over and trying out the track, and I've been, we've been watching, seeing that they've been having a couple events, and it looked like a little racy joint, and finally decided to make a trip over and see what we could do. And
well, buddy, I'm telling you right now, you were quick. I mean, from hot laps on, of course, you were middle of the pack during hot laps. I thought, man, whoever's in that 89 car is going to be quick. And shoot, you tore them up. It's like I said in the post, you won everything but the lottery that night.
I wasn't sure how, it was going to go. And definitely was a little smaller track than what our normal, what we're used to. But we had a lot of fun.
So you planning on coming back?
I'm sure we'll make a trip. I think that fair race, that weekend with the fair, I think towards the end of the year may be a fun little outing to go to. But maybe the mosquitoes will be a little died down for that.
Yeah, it was rough. There wasn't hardly anybody left. And I was announcing, I looked around, well, there ain't nobody even here listening. There ain't nobody watching. So I just kind of laid the mic down and watched.
There was a lot of folks up, especially up to that intermission and the fireworks. Yeah. Looks like, half the town or a bunch of them were up on the hill and having a grand time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's an awesome place. It's just kind of like you get kind of that, I don't know what you call it, kind of an old town festival feel every time I go there. I mean, the town supports that thing big time. I love it there. I'm glad I get to announce there, honestly, and be a part of that. And you got a great guy, and excuse me for the dogs there, but you got Tyler Combs and being the promoter of that deal. And then you got the sheriff there. I can't think of his name. big supporter of that. And, it's just an awesome place. And I think if it just keeps growing and keeps getting better, it'll be something special.
I think so. I know the track was a little rough, but I think they were testing out their new sprinkler system for that weekend. But I think once they get a little bit more of a handle on that and it smooths out, I mean, it looks like I could see it being a two groove, racy track. I was trying to sort of hang out more on the top side. It was a little smoother up there, but I did about lose one of the races when David Bell shot under me for the lead, but I did manage to hold him off. So it was fun. It was a good time.
Where do you normally race at? Over at Jonesboro and Atoka?
Yes. Here, I'm over in Atoka, Tennessee. I don't know, 30, 45 minutes north of Memphis. There's a track here in Atoka, Atoka Raceway Park, and they usually race every other weekend, opposite weekends of Jonesboro. So we'll try to hit the Atoka Raceway Parks events and then jump over and race at a Jonesboro karting complex in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So this past weekend we had a 2-day show. We were able to pick up 4 wins there. The factory stock shootout win and the pro stock shootout win.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
It was another pretty good weekend. About lost one of them, but we came across the line basically 3 wide, and I scraped by and snagged it. So it made for an interesting finish. It was fun.
Yeah. Now, how do you say your last name? Is it Leister or Lester?
It's Leister.
Leister. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was saying Lester, I think, the whole time y'all were racing.
People say Leister, Lester, Leicester. It's a bunch of different versions I get. So
well, man, you got any sponsors you want to thank?
I'd like to thank the Outcast Carts. They're based right out of Memphis, right over here in Memphis, Tennessee. A guy named Enoch Sanders builds them, and he's been in the racing scene for his whole life, and that's all he knows. Builds really good carts. Driven Racing Oil, that's the only racing oil we use, or the only oil we use. They make products for your tow vehicles, your race cars, street vehicle, or hot rod. It doesn't matter. They've got the oil for your needs. Haskin Performance Products. Their bodies is what we put on all our carts, and they work out great for us. Stealth Clutches. Our good old buddy Travis Ashley, he goes pretty much to every one of our, the majority of our races, and he pushing the carts, changing gears, oil. It doesn't matter. He's a huge help. He does more than he needs to, but he's a super awesome guy and helps out anybody at the track. Leister Power. My dad and I build motors, mostly my dad, but we try to help out a bunch of people with fresh engines on the carts. TML Financing and KR Performance Fuels. He's a good guy. He services a lot of needs himself, or also.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I didn't want to keep you too long. I don't try to keep anybody too long, and I know everybody lives busy lives. So look forward to seeing you back out there at Black Rock, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the invite, and hope you have a good night.
All right, you too, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right. Next up, we've got Kyle Beard coming on. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Doing good. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Well, you got a big weekend coming up. You picked up that win last time at Bad Boy 98 and put on a show. And tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I think I got lucky on that one. We struggled, I guess, the first night. I did all right in the feature both nights. If I could ever get the time in the heat races better, I think I'd be all right.
Yeah, man. You started back there in 16th? And there were still 18 laps to go when you took the lead. I went back and watched that because I was thinking, I don't remember when he even took the lead, but I know he started way back there in the back. And man, those two last restarts there at the end, they didn't even have a chance. You were gone.
That felt pretty good. We heck, I didn't even realize I was passing that many people, and by the time I got up there, I was thinking about the time I got to third. I was like, heck, we might be able to win this thing.
Yeah. You've been doing some traveling this year. Started out there at the Wild West Shootout.
Yeah, we went quite a bit more than we usually do. Went down to East Bay. I ain't been running that great at them other places. I just don't feel like I've been that. I haven't really traveled that much, I guess, to get used to all that
Right.
and experience. But
You,
yeah, we've done quite a bit of traveling this year.
do you feel like when you run with those guys, it helps you with your program when you run with the comp cams?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, the more you can do, like I guess the more changes you can make while you're running, it always helps out.
Right. Well, man, you're leading the points once again. Another championship.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. If Mother Nature keeps coming in there, she's going to help you win it pretty early, ain't she?
Yeah, about every weekend we've got rained out here lately, or
Yeah.
even in the good way.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this weekend, and I hope to see you go back to back. I really do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I used to not run that great at Batesville. Here lately, I kind of been looking forward to going.
Yeah, I mean, you and BJ both have kind of come on pretty strong at Batesville, as well as Rickman.
Yeah, both of them have.
But well, what's your thoughts on going to Poplar Bluff on
I'm looking
Friday?
forward to it too. I feel like a lot of the guys that don't get to go with me very much will be there. Just being closer to home. And I think last time I went there was a couple of years ago. I felt like I had a decent chance at it then, and we had some motor problems, so I ended up having to pull off right after the parade lap. I'm looking forward to going back.
How big is that track? I've never seen Poplar Bluff.
It's I think they call it a quarter, but it's kind of a. If you ever been to Harrisburg, it's a little bit bigger than that. A little wider turns, I guess.
Hopefully, it'll be on Flow Friday night, and I'll get to watch it because ain't no way I'll make it up there in time.
I think it's supposed to be. You never know about that.
Yeah. Well, man, I told you I wouldn't keep you very long. You want to thank your sponsors?
Man Motorsports, I couldn't do it without them. My dad, all my guys that helped me. I've got a bunch of them that help me at the shop that don't ever get to come to the races. I'd like to thank them. Autocraft, Swift Springs, Schaefer's Oil, Stucky at Black Diamond, man, they helped me a lot. So I've got a bunch of them.
Well, what you keep old Jimmy Bruce pretty busy?
Every once in a while.
Yeah, I've known Jimmy for a little while. He's the one who gave me your number to get in contact with you there.
Yeah, he keeps up with most of all the internet stuff. I don't get on Facebook or anything like that a whole lot, so he kind of helps me out with all that stuff.
Right. Well, man, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate all the times that you've given me an autograph or gave my kids a picture. It's really appreciated, and you're one of the great ones in the pits that will go out of your way for a fan, and I truly appreciate that.
It's no problem, man. Anytime.
All right. Well, have a good night, Kyle, and good luck this weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. All right. That was Kyle Beard. And hope everybody enjoyed this show. I believe that was all of our guests. Let me double check because I could be wrong. Yep, that was all four of them. We got Joseph in a little bit early. I actually messaged Kyle if he wanted to come on, and then there was Joseph, so I flipped them in right quick. We'll be back next Wednesday is when I'm going to try to have another show. We'll try to start keeping it on Wednesday. I know we may flip-flop. Just depends on my schedule. But the plan is for Wednesday next week, we'll try to get back to our carts. We'll try to get some of the Batesville Speedway racers on here as well. I haven't got to get out and reach out to any of them hardly. I see a bunch of them every day, and I just don't think about it when I see them. And I'll do more of getting those guys on here as well. try to do a 50-50 each show between the guys with the carts and the guys at Batesville. So I'm going to end it there tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Like I said, be sure to like it. Be sure to share it. If you're doing it on Facebook, be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. So with that said, everybody have a good night. We hope to see y'all out at the Batesville Speedway this weekend. It's $20 to get in for the adults. And I think 14 and under get in free. Let's make sure before I get off of here. I don't want to tell nobody the wrong price. And let's see. Yep. Free admission for kids 14 and under. And it'll be the last chance to see the late models until the topless 100. Hope to see everybody come out. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:30. And we will see y'all then. Everybody have a good night. See you next week.